Hello people of YouTube, it's your boy Skinny Penis with another video in the Safari Tours. This time we're checking out the funny Schlieffen and its ability to play the game without any player input. It's the third try, by the way. I had two great games in Schlieffen, but every single time the end screen didn't fucking load, so yeah, since I'm not editing the videos because I'm too dumb for that, I have to do it over and over again, even though I had two great videos in it. It doesn't matter anyways. Schlieffen. What's the Schlieffen? The Schlieffen is a battleship that only needs player input in terms of where it's heading, but no player input in terms of the damage output. Like, you can use your main guns also do exist. Your main guns are also actually pretty accurate for the fact that it's mainly based on secondaries in any case. Like, occasionally you will fuck with cruisers, since you have battle cruiser dispersion with shit sigma. Like, you get shotgun dispersion here and there, but you also get the weird Schlieffen main gun salvo occasionally. But in general, what you want to do is you want to position yourself well to stay alive as long as possible, but also get your secondaries on target. That's kind of like the min-maxing you're trying to pull here with this kind of ship. What are the strengths, or why does Schlieffen, why is Schlieffen, in my opinion, or in general, the only ship that really works with a full secondary spec? It's because the entire package just is built for it and works. Like, your secondaries do damage, they do hit. They're by far the highest DPM secondaries. They have improved accuracy, and the main thing is your concealment and your secondary range are the same. So the moment an enemy spots you and wants to engage you, your secondaries can fuck with him in very interesting ways. As I said, like, you don't really have to play the game in this ship. You can choose to let wargaming do the job. So, I don't know how well this ship fits the game, to be fair. I'm personally not a big fan of Schlieffen gamers that run it one for one into the mouth of myself or any other teammate for free multiple times per day. For some reason, people just love doing that, one for one trading in Schlieffen, running it in, trading one ship out. It's like the best ship to do it. Edwin von Rimmel shooting Ichi in his Yamato, very interesting. My secondaries are going nuts on the Kleber and the Cap. Very interesting engagement there. We're going to shoot Mr. Shimanto, obviously. You can see here, pretty nice dispersion. Sometimes you do get the battle cruiser, or the battle cruiser dispersion out, even though you have pretty shit sigma. I hope the Mr. Nostra Shimi can lay a smokescreen. I hope. Could be fucking disgusting. Come on, lay a smokescreen. Come on. Set a smokescreen, guy. Come on. Spotted by the Shimanto plane. He doesn't want to set a smoke, but I guess that's fine. Have to turn out though. Take the damage here. Both BB shot. Both DDs got 0 damage. We're going to focus again on the Kleber with the secondaries, since everything else is outside of range. We're going to go behind the island to limit incoming fire from enemies. As I said, like, what you want to do is you kind of want to limit incoming fire to stay alive longer, and therefore keep your secondary DPM afloat as long as possible. Take the occasional pot shot here and there to get spotted with the guns, but definitely don't stay too far away and try to snipe in this ship. It's a secondary focused thing. You can see here, guns do exist. The guns are pretty filthy sometimes. You have 406s. And for some reason my secondaries are unable to kill that guy. They're aiming like they're drunk. Doesn't matter though, our Nustra Shimmy got the kill out. We can go dark here. Oh, the Nustra is now smoking. The Yamato didn't shoot us, so we can already turn back in. We're going to heal. So, what is one of the main issues with Schlieffen? It's the shell catchers on the side. These kind of platings here, like this angled shit, they tend to catch a whole lot of shells. The fact that the nose part and ass part are overmatchable isn't really that big of a problem, to be fair, overall. just because the part of 25mm is very small. Also, you do have an icebreaker. The icebreaker extends so high up that the 25 part is actually to be neglected. That's also not where you really take the damage if you're nose in. Battleships aiming for superstructure and side plating get most of the damage. Going to torp here. You're just some sort of damage machine. Like you have so many options on the ship to deal damage. Fuck with enemies. Like you have the secondaries that obviously have disgusting DPM and also high penetration. You have to run IFAG. We're going into the spec since there's kind of only one viable spec on this ship in any case. We're abusing the smoke here to stay dark for now. We're going to shoot the cheek of the Yamato here. Hopefully we can get a shell hit. Oh, okay, we didn't really get much damage here. But we're in kite, we're pretty safe. We're going to get the Georgia in secondary range now. There's 4 BBs coming to this flank, so there's no real reason to run it in. I mean, obviously you could go for the one-for-one gaming experience at the moment. Like you could just run it in like a turd and trade as much HP on the enemy. That's kind of what the ship makes, what makes the ship so disgusting. If a very inexperienced player plays it, he's still a big-time threat, just because you don't really have to do much to get the secondaries rolling fully. Going to turn into the Georgia because the Yamato went behind a rock, so he's kind of like giving up on the crossfire on me. The Georgia fighter plane is spotting me though for the other battleships, which is kind of stupid. Air spotting on this ship is super high, so you definitely don't really like carrier games just because it neglects or negates most of your movements in terms of concealment. I have the left side towards reloaded in 50 seconds, so going to the island and then blocking of the Georgia from moving in. Kind of pushing myself a bit into a crossfire here, obviously. I think it's not the most optimal position I go into. Like the Georgia would have to die fairly soon for me to not take a billion damage here, but I can turn my guns, like 3 guns rotate through the front, so I can turn my main guns, most of them, onto the Georgia, give him a main gun volley here, and then let my secondaries finish the job. I mean, if I take a salvo here, I take a salvo here. But since the game is already like won and we're smashing the enemy team, I kind of want to go in as fast as possible just to get the maximum amount of damage out of this. Sadly, the enemy team just disintegrated into nothingness. Also, most of them are running away from me, which is kind of unfair. Don't really get to show off the Schlieffen secondaries in this game very much. Ah, they killed something on the other side. That's pretty good. I kind of needed that. Problematic though that both of the enemy battleships, Kansas and Yamato, are going into the middle of the map for no reason and killing themselves off rather quick. We can lob the island here. Sometimes the secondaries don't lob island, sometimes they do. But as you could see, like you go dark most of the times to reposition. You can't do that unless the carrier obviously perma spots for you. And I think I can lob it even with main guns. And you're searching for opportunities. Oh, the Shima just killed him with torpedoes. You're kind of searching for opportunities where you can stay alive as long as possible. Stay healthy and let the secondaries do the work. In terms of DPM, you're even more disgusting than most light cruisers when you get the secondaries on target for a prolonged amount of time. This guy is sadly running the fuck away as well, so this game is not gonna be a whole lot of damage. The Kansas will die in the middle fairly soon, then the game is over and we're hopping into the spec. Maybe I can get a nice little volley out on the Akimov before the Kansas completely dies. Wouldn't be too sure about that one though. My reload is still fairly long. I haven't spec'd for the guns. This could save my damage kind of, so here you go. Hopefully the salvo makes it. Should make it. Yeah, we got a Citadel here. We got 150k. We're looking kind of decent here. Obviously, if I would have had more time now to run at the enemy, I would have gotten a lot more damage. Triple fire from the Nakhimov rockets, just because we love it. The Kansas is gonna die here. Yeah, and the game is over. Well, unfortunately, like I had 4 BBs here, but all of them kind of dodged me. That's something that you have to kind of respect and learn more patience in Schlieffen overall. People do know that they can't really just sit in your secondary range forever. As you can see, the Yamato, Kansas, and Fritz just dodged the secondaries altogether, and the ship in general. Um, you have torpedoes, you do have secondaries, so like most random players don't really want to push into you anymore. But if that happens, you just have to stay patient. Like you have to get rid of the crossfire threat first before you can run at the enemy, and some games you just, as this one, you don't end up getting a lot of damage, but that's the way it is. This is the most effective Schlieffen spec by far. There is no real other alternative. The thing is, you get the Russian DCPs, so you don't really need the fire prevention. You'd rather go for the 4th heal, since it only gets 3 heals base, but you also get another DCP through that. Although the DCPs aren't really the issue here, it's mostly that you only get 4 heals on a battleship. And the rest is straightforward. Like, this is full secondary stuff. I mean, AR is just too viable, and like, this is the secondary skill tree, and this is like something that you have to remind yourself of. Schlieffen gets the low caliber secondaries of the Germans, and you need the IFHE not to reach the 32 threshold actually. I mean, that's a nice gimmick that you reach actually 32 overall, but the problem is also if you wouldn't take IFHE, those small secondaries wouldn't pen 30mm. So then you have a big time problem against cruisers. That's the actual like main reason why you have to take IFHE, just so you can penetrate cruisers with the small secondaries, and this is the DPM. I mean, they have nerfed the reload, but that's what you need. These things pen 47 then, so they pen like everything kind of. But the main DPM part of your secondaries, the ones that are also shooting in at disgusting angles, all of them, it's 6 turrets per side, those need IFHE. That you pen 32, as said, like that's a nice little gimmick. Specifically if battleships go nose in, or if you fight against 32mm BBs in general, you're kind of melting them. But the problem is the cruisers, just because something like a Des Moines, for example, could tank you fairly well in terms of your secondaries, and the thing just has too much DPM, but you can't really tank the Des Moines for long, so you kind of need to pen him, so you exchange damage faster. You obviously go full secondary. That's the thing. Like with Schlieffen, you definitely go full sec, like secondary module here, secondary module here, secondary module here. This is fairly obvious. And run Hydro mod if you have it. Like, I mean, just straight up a very, 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 very useful gimmick to have on a battleship. Also, since you are mostly trying to figure out a nice timing and nice position to push into the enemy, you want the Hydro running for as long as possible for that duration. Yeah. So full secondary build, it's the only ship where you should run it, because it's just the most optimal, and don't even try to run Brisk or I don't know, Turret Traverse or whatever the fuck you want instead of IFHE. You'd have to take it. As said, you have to think about it in the way that you cuck your fire chance, yes. That's why some people just compare the 32mm part, or the 32 pen, and the fire chance, and they're like, yeah, well, I could just get fires on the battleships and not pen 32, but you're forgetting about the 30mm threshold that you're also breaking, and that's really the main part. You're having cruises like Hindenburg, you're having cruises like Des Moines, Salem, in general 32 cruisers, like even the super cruisers like Honda or Annapolis, like you don't pen them if you don't take IFHE, so you could never fight them in secondary range. Like you're not doing any sort of damage against them then. Like they can literally just tank your secondaries if you don't have IFHE and fuck you over. Yeah, just keep that in mind, because I hear lots of people, like, I don't know, like when I'm talking to people and specking Schlieffen and stuff, I hear lots of people saying like, yeah, you just can't go through fires. No, you can't. Like it's the cruises that are the problem. It's not the 32 threshold, it's the 30 threshold. I can only repeat it. Next game, carrier game again, super ship matchmaking actually. I have Admiral Cookie Dough in front of me. Very interesting. Nice, nice, nice. Mr. Admiral Cookie Dough in a druid. Or not report. We're having 2 Condes and a Yoshino in the enemy team. That's a bit of a problem. 3 kite cruisers that are HE focus when there's a carrier too. And I get the the open water flank, which is a bit of a problem now for me. You gotta be really patient. I can't just run it in immediately. I would be focused out and die. I have to be hopefully unspotted for as long as possible, and hope that some enemy makes a pushing move. Very unlikely though, given the battleships they play. Satsuma, Monty, Thunder are probably camping in base, and Comparable is not gonna be spotted a whole lot. And yeah, the only thing that might run into my mouth is the Schlieffen. Well, let's see what our carrier spots on this flank. Last game, as you could see, I tried to use the island to go dark and turn out or in more often than not, and play a bit more patient. Sadly, it didn't pay off, since all the enemy BBs decided to not trade with me, but go into the middle and die. Obviously, it was like kind of the perfect situation. I got rid of the Georgia, we got rid of the Kleber and the Shimanto, so there was like no torpedo or crossfire threat anymore for me. And I was still full HP, so last game, if the battleships would have been there, I could have just run it into their mouth and traded very, very, very well with them. Thinking about shooting here, at least the front turret, since I'm going to be spotted anyway for a while. And yeah, well, gotta be a bit careful here, to be honest. Going to turn out now, since the Incomparable is ignoring me. Going to get... Can pre-select targets for the secondary, so if they're randomly spotted later on, you don't have to you don't really have to care anymore about clicking secondary focus fire. Yeah, well, as said, you gotta be patient. There's 2 DDs coming, there's 2 sniper battleships in their base. Shino's kiting. You can take these kind of pot shots. Just gotta be sure that you don't drop too much HP for taking these, since it's not really said that Schlieffen will punish it. I also misaimed. Like, he fully turned in. I didn't really expect him fully turning in. That's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, maybe Mr... Oh, okay, Mr. Satsuma just 15k'd me for free here. And kind of disgusting. I wonder if our Edgar is smoke or radar. He hasn't smoked yet, and he's going in fairly aggressive, so I would assume he's radar, trying to get the daring. I don't know what Mr. Edgar is doing. Yeah, I'm only taking shots if I get flat broadside targets here, kind of. Otherwise, there's no real reason for me to open up. It's just too risky to take a bunch of damage now that I would need later on. And the game is young, and also do keep in mind, if you get into the right situation at the right time with Schlieffen, you do end up getting a lot of damage. We're going to torp here. It's just like fire and forget shit. I said with the torpedoes, unless you're looking at a rush situation in the next minutes, you don't really have to use your... You don't really have to keep your torpedoes. But you should definitely not send them if you're going into a brawl, just because the reload is so long. And obviously HE disables the torpedo tubes and then resets the reload over and over again. I'm kind of using the smoke here to just stay dark, because the more you stay dark, the more people forget about you in randoms somehow. Like, lots of random players just suddenly forget that you actually exist. Taking a shot here. Didn't really get that much damage. No citadel. That was the shotgun dispersion moment, kind of. But yeah, I think we should go dark before everyone in the enemy team starts griefing us again. And we're like sadly plane spotted behind the smoke now, which is a wee bit unfortunate. The Satsuma could come into secondary range though. The planes die, thank you. Satsuma could come into secondary and torpedo range at the same time. We're going to DCP the fire. It's the fast DCPs, don't really want to use my heal here. Problem is there's also a Conde now here, and the Satsuma isn't yet in secondary range, so if I start trading at that range, it's kinda not very optimal for me. Okay. Okay, the daring is spotted. Satsuma... As long as the Conde is occupied with someone else and not farming me, I can't stay here. Okay, the Satsuma is going full speed into me, so I'm going to run away now. Have him in secondary range fairly deep. Gotta pace myself correctly. Edgar also sent torps. Trying to get fires here since he DCP'd my torpedo, obviously. Edgar is gonna get a torpedo hit. Sadly I didn't get the fire, it was someone else. One knocked my main turret. It was the incomparable, I think. Okay, 2 main turrets are disabled, but this guy is taking the torps and dying. Unfortunate, 120k HP is just getting one healed like this. Yeah, well. Just the way it is sometimes. Just the way it is, you're not getting the damage that you want. If I had my little dedicated 1v1 here with this guy, I could have farmed the whole bunch of damage. Unfortunately, very unfortunate that he takes so much damage from other people. Repushing would be super simple here. Since the Daring died and the Khabarovs died, there's no DD here anymore. The repushing would be super easy because I could just stay dark until I reach the enemy. But the carrier is just perma-humping us. I don't really know why he thinks it's smart to go into a Schlieffen Conda combination. Like, he is going to lose a whole bunch of planes. But I don't think he cares as a carrier. He just loves throwing his planes, griefing the Schlieffen at the corner or border of the map. Instead he could, for example, fuck with the vampire that now is the biggest threat kind of for his team, because he's perma-spotting, torping and farming while being full HP. Then again, it's not domination. So no direct game impact in terms of caps from the vamp, so that's probably why he's trying to farm damage. He's gonna come back again, I can already tell. That's why I'm humping the Edgar now to repush. I mean, the Edgar can just repush together with me, should be fine. Yeah, he's coming again. The Kon and the Yoshino probably using this opportunity to just shit HE into us. Yeah, there you go, both of them in kite already. That's just fun with carriers in World of Warships. And maybe this guy actually tries to dodge all the torpedoes and gives me flat broadside. That would be kinda... Actually... Kinda trying to get a nice little citadel here on the Conda. Get 1 penetration, 0 damage. They're focusing on the Edgar, because everyone loves to shoot an Edgar, instead of focusing me. Problem is just that I can't really catch up to the Yoshino. Also, if the carrier comes back and tries to drop me again, I definitely can't catch up to the Yoshino. Is he turning back in fully? No. I'm taking pot shots here. I'm going more towards the border. Dude, this carrier is kinda horny for my cock. Patiency once again not paying off, by the way. Like last game and this game. Not really paying off in terms of me staying back, keeping my HP, now being able to repush. I also misaimed that, or misled that disgustingly hard on the Conda. Would be cool if my team would focus the Conda out now, so I can keep running at the carry and the Yoshino and maybe get my sweet little revenge. I do have 2 more heals left, so definitely something. If I would have gotten half decent dispersion on the Conda, I could have already killed him. Oh, finally Patry killed him. Going to heal. Torpedoes, it's only 2. I think we can just run straight and outrun them. It's only 1 now. Yeah. Also panicking, I think, a bit, just because he sees the few torps that he has die. Going to pop a Hydro just to see if there are Yoshino torps, and now we're going to straight run at the Yoshino since everything is gone on this flank. There's no more crossfire. I said hopefully we get to the carrier and get our sweet little revenge, but for now you can see the secondaries do the dirty on the Yoshino. Actually going to switch sides because the carrier is nose in towards this. He's running out the front maybe. Also the Yoshino is super deep in the secondaries, also choosing to go around the right side of the rock, so I definitely want to be here too. Into DCP immediately, also because the Yoshino is Kinda not fucking around too well with the guns. Not really keeping them on me. I hope I get an angle soon on the carrier. Secondary is working on the Yoshino. As you can see, we pen his entire ship. It's pretty fucking disgusting. This guy is the luckiest Yoshino player. Nah, okay, finally we got a Citadel, man. Took me fucking long enough, to be fair. Secondaries will finish him off. Go. Well, yeah. Classic Schlieffen gameplay. Look for the right opportunity to run at people that are alone or that don't have assistance from their team and fuck them up with your secondaries. Very funny and engaging gameplay. And I get the carrier now. Yes. We are, in fact, getting the carrier. Very nice. Very nice. I mean, the Edgar is going to burst him, so we're not gonna get the full carrier out. Also, the Patrie has shots, I think. Yeah. My secondaries are not doing a lot of damage to that guy, because carriers are better armored than cruisers or battleships, obviously, in this game. Not even getting a main gun damage in, really. That's a bit unfortunate, I'm not gonna lie. Did that go burst? The Patrie's gonna get the kill here. Going to DCP and heal. Started one last torpedo plane, and maybe we can reach the other side and get some more damage there. It's very unlikely, though, that I am ever getting back into secondary range. Not a lot of damage. The thing is, though, it's a decent game for Schlieffen. It's half decent. Like, you're not having a complete one-shot blowout moment on it, so fine. It's fine. I mean, there's not really much you can do there. You would have to bet on the fact that the enemy ignores you. Not only one enemy ship, but like 4 or 5 enemy ships if you run it in immediately. Like, there's just no way. If you run in too early, most of the enemies are just going to turn away and use the opportunity to farm you out. On these open flanks, you don't have islands to dive behind. Therefore, the 910 would have been obviously way better for me to play on. But hey, it could have gone either way in both games. I played it passive, I played it very patiently, and sadly my team was just too good. If my team would have been a bit less, let's say, smart, also if the Edgar would have been, for example, completely useless, I could have gotten more damage, maybe at the cost of winning the game. But hey, I won't complain. You could see in both games that you should really care about when to send it into the enemy. You can't send it straight up. You shouldn't also send it when there's straight up everyone still alive, full HP, because you're not gonna tank as long as they do, even if your secondaries get great DPM out. So you can see the carrier just humped me in the Edgar. If the Edgar wouldn't have been there, the carrier could have humped me for free the entire time. Do mind that you don't get very high amount of base XP in Schlieffen. Secondary damage has nerfed XP income. I only get 1.7 because of the planes. Otherwise, I would be way lower in terms of XP income. We're going to play a third one, just hoping that I get a nice little aggressive game in here. And I don't think people will complain if they see more Schlieffen action. It were 2 calculated wins. I obviously had better games than Schlieffen before. Schlieffen is also a BB that does get a lot of average. 150, 160 average is easily possible in this ship. Personally, I think I even ran over 170. Then I fucked it, though, by running it too fast. And that's the thing what I'm trying to get across here. You do have to be super patient and just accept that some games you're not gonna get your secondaries to squirt a whole lot, but you're way more of an asset for your team when you're afloat, and you can actually take then favorable fights when some enemies have been focused out, pressured back. So yeah. But I think most people that watch the video already know that playing like the average German or European boomer that runs it in with a German battleship instant and gets one healed isn't really the way to go. on these ships. I mean, it's kind of the same for every ship, but more so than on Schlieffen than any other. Um, for some reason, battleship player brain is just attracted heavily by secondary squirting on enemy. It doesn't matter what BB it really is, what German BB specifically, for example. They just want to see the secondary squirt, even though they have to understand that for the secondaries to do a large amount of damage, you have to be consistently in a position to shoot, like for your secondaries to shoot the enemy, to also build up accuracy, and at the same time you kind of have to survive and not drop all your HP. That's like kind of two criterias that you have there. They're only going for the first, which is get people into secondary range. Well, yeah, I mean, all good and shit, but if you get one healed in the process and die in less than a minute, then yeah, you're not secondary, you're not gonna get a whole lot of damage out. It's not like some sort of, I don't know, Shikishima main gun that, I don't know, overmatches and penetrates everyone, every single shell for 6k, so it's not how they work. Also, do mind that you have to stay alive for very long, even on Schlieffen, for your secondaries to do really meaningful damage. On GK and Preußen, you have to stay alive even longer, like at least double the amount of time to actually get great value out of your secondaries, which is even harder because of your concealment, for example, and the nature of the game at the moment where everyone's just straight up shooting the German battleship. Everyone loves to shoot the German BB. We're having a little crossfire Monty moment. Good job. Well done. Really scared me there. There is a DD in B. It's definitely a Torp DD. That's HE from Iwami, I think. Okay, the Shema. Wait, should be going dark here. Yeah, exactly. Is this guy shooting me again? Nah, he stopped it. Not firing on me. Our submarine and Shimmer are going into A. Question is now, do I turn out or do I turn in? That would be important to decide now. I think for now I should be turning out. There's another DD in this area and the Shimmer came from middle. So it could be pretty spicy crossfire torps if I go in now. Yeah, okay, that's a gearing here. It's 2 sets of 5. Our Shimmer already died. Yeah, just took a torpedo and died. And a 15k main gun hit here, this time a bit more consistent straight off the bat. The Shimmer is deep in my secondaries. The question is just, can someone keep him spotted? I mean, he doesn't have a smoke. Yeah, but people didn't keep really spotting it. We're throwing out the torps into the cap. Hopefully we're getting some hits. We can't go dark. Shouldn't be a bit of a big of a problem though. We have long range ASW, so I'm kind of maybe looking if I can hit the submarine randomly. Don't really have the support this time around. And again, this map is super favorable for Schlieffen because of the islands. Like, you can make great use of the islands to mitigate incoming fire and force the enemy to come close. Whereas the best situation here would be if my team would be able to get caps for that. But my Shimmer, as I said, already died. We have the Henry in the middle of the map. For some reason he's dark. Is he in a smoke? How is he dark? Okay. We have the submarine in our mouth. I'm ready for the Henry to be spotted. For some reason he's not going to get spotted. Oh, gotta pop hydro for the sub. This thing has a citadel, by the way. Wait, the submarine is over there? No, the submarine turned into our submarine. Aha. So the submarine is looking towards this now, trying to kill the sub. That's where the Henry already is. He's going through the middle of the map unspotted. Kinda hilarious if you ask me. So, we have dropped the submarine for a fair amount of damage. The Shimmer for some reason opened up in my secondary range, so we can actually kill him here. You can see the secondaries are kind of murdering these people. Now we're full HP. We can turn out on the rock here again. We still have Hydro on. We can keep the rock between me and the gearing that is still left to dodge incoming. That we also didn't torp yet. We're going to torp now. I think I'm going to actually probably with the Kearsarge with my secondaries. I don't know who's the bigger threat here, Kearsarge or Iwami, but what we can do is we can turn out here. Said like submarine and gearing can't torp me. The island is in between. And we can maybe dive into the Sherman smoke. We just outlasted, or outpatiented the enemy ships. This guy's maybe going to eat torps. This guy's turning for a broadside, so I'm going for a cheek shot here. Like Iwami definitely has a hittable citadel. Also, this guy is still shooting HE for some reason the entire day. We did 0 damage here. Oh, the Marco Polo is coming through the middle. He maybe gets one shot, but then he's behind the island. But we have to slow down because of that. Yeah, we're going to probably use the Sherman smoke to maybe help us. Go dark. Use my DCP now. 1 minute on the Sherman smoke. Yeah, we can just use his smoke to kinda be safe. Problematic though that I don't have torpedoes ready on the left in case the Marco Polo decides to go even closer to me. But we can also mitigate the carrier and the Kearsarge. It's kind of a double carrier moment. We will be stopping in time, I think. Secondaries are on the Marco Polo. Yeah, middle of the ship isn't supposed to get out of the smoke, but okay, it's a millimeter too far. The Marco Polo is ignoring us at the moment though, so it's kind of fine. Hydro back on 30. Actually, I think I have to accelerate out of the smoke. There might be the next gearing set coming for it. This game definitely a bit more interesting. By far. Okay, the Iwami is coming in. I can go forward again, bring the next island in between me and the Marco Polo. And then switch secondaries on Iwami. We had to take that hit. Put it way around it. But the Iwami has 32mm armor, so we're slowing down. Actually, Iowa makes us slow down faster. Secondaries on Iwami. Secondaries will murder him probably instantaneously. Torps are on Iowa from the sub, but we don't know where the gearing torps are. Submarine is literally in our mouths. Okay. I didn't kill the sub. Very interesting, to be fair. Iwami is suffering in our secondaries, as expected. I pen him everywhere. He's still shooting HE, so I can already turn in. Like, this guy apparently hates AP. So I can give La broadside earlier here. No, is the Sherman or me gonna get the kill? I gonna get the kill, okay. Well. Even though my team kind of decided to hyper camp it, the two Iowas are like super campy, not doing really anything. The submarine died. Gearing is in the middle of the map. Okay. We can go into the middle now too. We're super healthy. We have DCP heal ready. I can go around this flank because there's nothing in this area anymore, and then fight the Monty and the Marco Polo again. Torpedoes are loaded. The only thing that could fuck with us now is kind of the carrier. Monty's actually coming into the middle, really. Yeah, I'm spotted now too. Okay, that's Iwami torps. Well, that's kind of shite. Stupid ass carrier coming in. Well, the gearing is gonna torp this approach, so we're gonna have to slow down soonish. That torpedo hitting me is a fucking disgrace for wargaming. That was definitely not on my booty, but whatever. Going to slow down here. As you can see, yeah, the gearing torped me. It's kinda anticipated. I'm gonna pre-pop one of the 3 heals just so I get to the next heal, 100%. Obviously the carrier does 3 trillion damage. The Marco Polo seems to be ignoring us though, so we can get our guns out on the Monty and kill him before he kills us, or gets to shoot again. Since I'm flooding, I'm going to die here to their carrier, it's just inevitable. It's just the funny moments that you have with a super CV. Yeah, you can fuck yourself. Suck your own cock, you demented fucking base with your stupid ass piece of shit super carrier. Thank you very much for instantaneously griefing me with your funny torpedo bombers and your super squad. That's super cool, I love it. Epic, epic, epic. Well, we got 180, it's more than the other games. We also got 4 kills. Could have had a bit more fun here, like if I get into the middle, kinda don't take the permaflood, I could probably fuck with the Marco Polo and the carrier in their base. But yeah, you can see like the Schlieffen doesn't offer the greatest amount of torpedo protection, neither the biggest HP pool, so the big threat that you're running is eating torps from DDs or carriers. Like those greatly limit your impact because they just fuck most of your HP immediately and you can't really heal back much. So I mean it's an issue for all the German BBs because like the other German BBs are fat and don't have torpedo protection either, but at least you get like more HP and you're also like super main gun focused. While with Schlieffen you kind of have to be close, so you also kind of have to purposefully dodge all the torpedoes just so you're not losing your ability to trade HP, because the moment you use your secondaries you're kind of forced to trade HP for damage just because you're so close to the enemy. Well, our Iowa gets one shot here. Their carrier is a turbo griefer. Ours is a little demented bot. So we're going to lose this game, unfortunately. But I mean, you could kind of see how Schlieffen works. You play around the islands. It's always the same story that I tried. I'm turning towards an island to be angled, turning behind the island to not give broadside open water, kiting out people if they push, only pushing if there is a certain amount of ships in front of me, not too many, so I'm not dying immediately and going for useless trades. Yeah, that's just it. Wish a Merry Christmas 2023 to the super carriers, and hopefully they're having a great time. But you saw a bit of Schlieffen, try it out yourself, and maybe you're even getting away with some sort of 6-7 kill game and 400k damage. It's definitely possible, since this ship is kind of the giga epic suicide bomber with secondaries and torpedoes. You can do a whole lot of funny rushes. Just try it out. It plays different. It's also the only battleship that really works with secondary, so if you want secondary fun, play Schlieffen. In any case, see you for the next video.